Hello and welcome to the GP Analytics Craft Portal. The purpose of this video is to give you a quick start to log in and place your first order. We are going to be signing in as Eagle Sales of Los Altos today, a fictitious buyer connected to fictitious suppliers. We're going to want to place an order for Western Slope Brewing Company. So, upon signing in, what we want to do is check our current location. First of all, we see our own name here, Eagle Sales of Los Altos, on the right. But the second portion here shows our supplier. We are currently looking at purchase orders for East Seattle Brewing Company. In order to switch suppliers, we come over to our Wholesaler dashboard dropdown on the left. Here we will see all available suppliers currently connected to the Craft Portal. If you only have one supplier at the moment, you'll simply be dropped into the purchase order screens for that supplier. Again, today we want to place an order for Western Slope Brewing Company. And we can confirm our location here. What I'd like you to see next is the calendar function that we have on the right. Our purchase order screen that we're seeing now will display any purchase order whose ship date falls into the highlighted week. In this case, at the time of this recording, it is June 10th, 2021, meaning we are looking at purchase orders now 2 weeks into the future, in the week of June 21st. We will see purchase orders whose ship date falls into this week. For example, we have a blank purchase order here, shipping on June 25th. If we would like to see orders whose ship date falls into a different week, we simply click on any day in the week of interest to navigate to that week. Let's come into our current week here. We can review past purchase orders. Now, we are locked out of making changes to this purchase order. And there's two reasons for that. First is that it falls into what we call the lockout window. The lockout window is an option to be established by your supplier. In this case, Western Slope Brewing Company has elected for a 1-week lockout window, meaning we as buyers will not be able to interact with or add purchase orders in our current week. However, if I navigate 1 week into the future, I can now interact with and create purchase orders again. Let's assume in this case, we want to place an order in the week of the 21st. If you're a VIP data reporting wholesaler, then we will have what we call a template purchase order loaded into the Craft portal for you. That's what we're seeing here. We will look at the last 12 weeks of your sales history and your inventory, and any items that fall into that category will be preloaded onto the purchase order. The unit quantity or pallet quantity is the quantity shipping on this order, and it's all zero to start. This is just a template to save you the time from having to come in and create a new purchase order and add individual line items. If you do want to create an additional purchase order in a given week, you click New PO, select a ship date, and then you can either use this Create PO button to create another template with items preloaded, or use this dropdown to create a truly blank purchase order with no line items. You can click and drag items between unapproved purchase orders. More to come on that in a moment. If you need to add an item to a purchase order that's not currently loaded, for example, an item that you haven't sold before or a specialty item, use this blue Add Transaction. This will pop up a modal that allows us to add line items to a purchase order. You can search through these dropdowns to find the products you're interested in, or what I prefer, click on Show, and you will see every product available to order from the supplier. You can then use the search filter to look for a product in question. Clicking on the product will fill the dropdowns, and then we can add a quantity in units, a quantity in pallets, and a note if we wish. If you're adding multiple items, you can check this box, and when you press Save, the modal will stay open. However, you can see in the background, we've now added this barrel-aged stout. You can adjust the ship date of the order here, and you can adjust the PO number as well. Now, anytime we make a change to a purchase order, you're going to see two buttons pop up, Save and Roll Back. Roll Back will erase any change that we just made, and Save will ensure that our changes are sticking before we navigate away from this page or close this tab. Let's begin adding some quantities onto our purchase order. We simply can add in units or in pallets. As we're adding quantity, notice a number of features are changing on this purchase order. First of all, you can see the pallet quantity and weight of the order here. Also, you can see your projected net DOI changing. So be sure to line up your quantities with your target DOI. Let's assume we want to build an order to 30 days or near 30 days. So we will pay attention to this projected net DOI on the right. For more detail on the sales velocities, your inventories, and the on-hand days or DOI tools that are on this purchase order, please see the next video. We'll continue moving down this purchase order again, building to a target of 30 days. And we will be sure to save our changes before navigating away from this page. Now, an important note, if we were to change this ship date to a different week, let's move it out 1 week into the future. And we save the change. It's going to disappear because remember, we're looking at a 1 week view of time. So we need to navigate out to the next week to go and find that order. Here it is. Now, the last very important step in this process is the approval button. When you're completed and ready with your order, you will press this approve. This is a signal to your supplier that it is now their job to come into the portal, review your order, and fulfill. Another important note is that your supplier and you will receive an email notification upon pressing approval. And finally, once an order has been approved, you will not be able to edit or make changes to that order. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like. We press approve. We're going to get a warning that says, hey, we can't make changes to this order. Okay, we understand that our order is ready. At that time, we are now locked out of making changes to this order. And that's the process. For stepping into the portal, we find our supplier. We navigate throughout time to find the week in which we'd like to place an order. We add quantities, paying attention to the projected net DOI, and we press approve. Again, see our additional videos for much more detail on where these sales velocities, projected on-hand beginning inventories, and DOI figures are coming from.